Hey everybody, sorry for the delay. I've had some technical issues trying to get set up. I forgot that my normal setup was not here tonight, so I had to kind of throw it together. Happy that you are here joining me. We are going to, I'm going to demonstrate a technique in a little bit called the Scrappy Strip technique. And just to give you a little preview, here is one of the cards that I made using this technique. It is so easy. When you see how we do it, you're gonna you won't believe it. It's gonna be so easy. When you're going through here, when you're watching, if you like this, please give me some hearts and thumbs up because that helps me show up in your timeline more often, in case you didn't know that. So we're going to do those in a few minutes, but I have some news and things to talk about. So I'm going to just kind of give everybody a couple minutes for this to appear in their notifications and to hopefully get on here while we're live. For those of you that don't know, I've recently had foot surgery, and so hobbling down here to my craft room has been quite the adventure, but I've been able to get down here some and have enjoyed having a little extra time to get some crafting done. I have to go back to work on Monday, so that's going to be interesting too to see how that's going to go when I have to hobble in and run around school on an e-scooter. I'm sure those high school kids will enjoy seeing that and probably enjoy making fun of it as well. So, hey Angie, hey Mary Ruth, see if you guys are on here. Thanks for popping in, Ange. So while I'm still waiting, I'm going to go ahead and go through for those that end up catching this on replay, let me know in the comments that you're here, that you caught it on replay, but I've got a few things that are going on with Stampin' Up! Right now that I wanted to share with you, so make sure you didn't miss. What's today? Is today the 29th? It is the 29th. So tomorrow is September 30th, and that means it's the end of Celebration. So here we go. This is our Celebration brochure. What that means is Celebration is a time with Stampin' Up! That when you purchase $50, or for every $50 that you purchase, you get to pick something out of the Celebration catalog for free. Unlimited, unless something runs out, which we have had one, this bedazzling paper, which is gorgeous. It has already gone, so everything is while supplies last. But there's stamp sets in here. There's some really cute designer series paper. There's the paper right up here. Kind of get that close. It's adorable. There is this stamp set right here. Feels like home. There is this designer series paper. It's black and white, and so it is the perfect kind of like a canvas. You can color with markers, with colored pencils. Hey Connie, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Our Stampin' Blends, you can use sponges, daubers to just add some color on there. Super easy, so that's still available. There is some Christmas paper that is still available. The paper is 12 by 12, so you can, that size is great for, Angie, I'm not sure, honestly, about the captions. Whenever I go back and upload this, I definitely will have captions on it. It's one of those things that's just, it's a lot to try and figure out. This little counting sheep set is one you can get for free. And then the coordinating die set, you can get that for free. This Textures and Frames stamp set. This is a great stamp set for adding all kinds of backgrounds to your cards. It makes great standalone cards, but you can see these little textures that they've added behind here. It's a great little stamp set. And then this is Summer Shadow Dies, and it coordinates with a stamp set, the Shaded Summer stamp set that's in our annual catalog. And this is my favorite one. Now this one is with a $100 order. This is called Delicate Dahlias. So this is what they call a level 2. So you have to have $100 in your order to get the level 2. But it's a more detailed stamp set. Now if you were to place an order, if you got, and this would have to be really quick because it's tomorrow, but there is a host only special stamp set if you have an order that's $300 or more. And then, of course, if you decide that you want to get all of your crafting supplies, my camera's kind of, sorry about that, it's moping here. Let me see if I can tighten it up. Like I said, it's a little wonky. Hi, Wanda, good to see you on here. Anyway, if you decide that you want to join Stampin' Up! Right now and get all of your craft supplies from Stampin' Up! For a 20% discount, it's a perfect time because you also will get when you join Stampin' Up! You get $125 worth of product for $99 and free shipping, so that's an additional 10% savings. And then during celebration, you also get to pick one of 12 bundles. Stampin' Up's going to give you that for free. And so that's a little extra bonus. When you join with me, you'll become part of my Smoky Mountain Stampers team, and we have lots of fun. We have team events. We're getting ready to have a team retreat in Sevierville in November, and we're going to get together for a weekend and hang out and stamp and watch some Stampin' Up! Events, and I think it's going to be fun. So you can join us. There's no requirements. You don't have to sell anything. You can just get your own supplies at a discount. Most people do that. Most people just join to be what we call a hobby demonstrator and just get your supplies for a discount. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I'd be happy to help you with that. Let's see what else is going on. Oh yes, okay, so I've got a special going on right now also. It goes until October 15th. And I have a sales goal I'm trying to reach, and so I thought I would entice you all a little bit to maybe want to place an order. And so I am giving away our mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. So this is a smaller version of our big boss. This is baby boss, and then we have big boss, what I call it. It is, the sides fold down. It's perfect for traveling. It is awesome. It's a $60 value. Sorry, it's gonna be noisy. There we go. It comes with all of the plates that you need. So it comes with everything, and it's just great. I love it. It's perfect especially if you go to crops or classes. It's great to take along with you. So how can you enter to win this? First of all, if you just shared, there's a post down below this that talks about the giveaway, and there's a video I've kind of done the same thing where I've talked about it. But if you just share that post and then leave a comment that you shared it, you'll get an entry. So there's no purchase necessary. For every portion or increment of $25 that you purchase, you'll get an entry into the drawing. So that's, if you do a $24 order, that's one. If it's $35, it's going to be two, and so on. When you get to 100, then I'm going to double your entries. And also, I'm trying to get together what we call a $1,000 workshop, and so that's 10 people placing $100 in orders. And then everyone gets $15 in hostess benefits. And the reason that's kind of a big deal is you typically have to purchase $150 to get $15 in host benefits. So this is a way to purchase a little less and still get some free stuff. So who doesn't like free stuff, right? Okay. Also, if you join my team, you're going to get you'll get 10 entries into the drawing if you join my team. So now that part, the biggest thing in this is our retreat is November, it's the, Connie, it's the weekend of Onstage, so it's November 11th, 12th, 13th, I think. And yeah, so that's where we're going up. We've got a cabin rented up in Sevierville. It's going to be fun. We're going to watch the Onstage events. Hey, Ginger, how you doing? Good to see you. So that's what we're doing. And I lost my train of thought. Oh, celebration ends tomorrow, and that's like hard. So if you don't get your order in tomorrow and you want something from celebration, it's going to be gone October 1st. Now you may find somebody that has something, but if you want to get it with your order for free, then you need to have your order placed. I will hold up the host code. It's backwards, I realize. Sorry, it's 4AJP7F2S. I'll have it so I'll put that in the comments. But that's the host code, and my camera is sloping again. So Oh, y'all, I haven't done this in a while, and so it's clear that I haven't done in a while. I need to get back in the habit of doing some Facebook Lives. Hey, Ginger, I've got a thing on here that says you want to join my video. Is that true, or did you accidentally push something? Just checking before I pull you in here. I'll look and see your comment. Okay, let's see. What else is going on in Stampin' Up! World? I think that's about it. If you have any questions about the promotion, just let me know. You can email me, text me, call me, leave me a message on Facebook Messenger. Any of those things will be just fine, so let me know. And I think that's it. If I think of something else, I'll let you know. Oh, dang it, Connie, I hate that. Well, but it sounds like you're going to have fun. Daytona Beach, I mean, I don't know. I might want to go to the beach instead. I love the beach. That's my jam. Okay, so again, here is this cute little, and I'm going to use it here in a little bit, so you'll get to see it in a demonstration. So, all right. I think now also let me just mention this. We have right now our mini catalog. This is our July to December mini catalog. So this has a lot of our holiday stuff, some beautiful Christmas things. If you are interested and if you like to make Christmas cards, Christmas gifts, it has some really great products in here. I love these because this is these are such unusual colors for Christmas. I love this, the Whimsy and Wonder, and I think this one is, I know the paper is on back order because it has been so popular. That's what I thought, Ginger. I thought maybe you didn't intentionally do that, but that's okay. If you're a pet lover, look at these cute little puppies, and I know we've got lots of pet people out there, so there's that. Sweet. It's got a stamp set, dies, some little enamel dots, some felt, and some really cute paper, and then some coordinating ribbon. So if you don't have one of these catalogs and you would like to get one, let me know. Leave a comment, send me your address and Messenger, and I will get one of these to you. But this goes through December, but things are going really fast. It's very popular, so you don't want to wait till the last minute to make something for Christmas and then not be able to get your product. So don't wait if you want to make some Christmas stuff. Okay, so I think we're about ready to get stamping. Now, I have to apologize because I'm going to have to turn my camera down, and because this is not my normal setup, it's going to probably make you nauseous. So just like close your eyes for about 10-15 seconds while I flip my camera around and get it to where I can see what's going on. So hang tight. Okay. Of course, nothing wants to, I've got this mount that's very secure, so let me turn the camera. There we go. Oy vey. See if I can do this without shutting down my Facebook Live, because that would really not, that would not do either, would it? All right, there we go. Okay, now things are, here are two of my sample cards, if you can see. Let me try to, all right. Now let me see if I can tighten everything back up. I got my charging cord in the way here. Y'all, don't you like, and there you go. Oh, you got to see a shot of my messy desk. Okay, it's like watching a train wreck in slow motion sometimes around here. There we go. I think that looks good. Let me see if I can get everything tight so it won't move on us. Hope you guys are having a good evening and are looking forward to this. Okay. Oops, I lost a couple people in that. So sorry. All right, let's get this. Okay, that may be about as straight as we're going to get. I can't tell which way I need to turn. There we go. Whew. All right, I feel better now. Okay, so here are two cards that I made using what we call the Scrappy Strip technique. And it looks like it would be complicated, but I promise you it is not. Now I'm going to try, I've got my laptop over here and I am trying to pull up this Facebook Live so I can catch comments, because while I'm demonstrating, it's a little harder for me to catch your comments. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So this technique is really great when you want to use your scraps. As you can see, these are just little pieces. So if you save your scraps like I do, I have a drawer, and I have my my drawers. Like I have a drawer for my bright colors. I have a drawer for my subtles and my neutrals. So I keep them, whenever I have extras, I just throw them in the proper drawer. So it does, they're not super, or like I know people that have an individual file folder for every color. And that would definitely not be me. So I'm not, I like to try to be a little bit organized, but I am not that organized. So, all right, now I got your comments pulled up here, so hopefully I will still be able to keep seeing those. All right, so what you're going to need is a base piece of cardstock. Now, when I talk about a base piece of cardstock, that is simply a half a sheet of cardstock. Nothing fancy. I'm going to get a piece of tape here and put down this corner because it's coming up. It's going to make me crazy. So you can figure out what kind of cardstock or base you want. So basically, I did a black piece of cardstock, and then I also, so you can see, I think, that this is on dimensionals. So I did the same color as my base, and so that's what kind of makes these grout lines, is what I'm calling them. So, and here's this one. Now this are our new in colors, and I thought, well, I can make a card just showcasing the new in colors. They're not really super new now, but, and then since it's black, I always put a piece of white cardstock, and I just pulled out the pale papaya and found a stamp that I liked and stamped that down in the corner. And then for this one, you'll see that I took a little scrap from when I trim off, and you'll see how I do that in a minute, and just attached it there so that it's coordinating on the inside. So that's how I did that. Now I'm going to grab a piece of basic black, and I already have some colors picked out that I liked because I wanted to do one that was really bright and cheery, but I wanted to show you how I came up with the colors for this one. I know some people say that they have a hard time figuring out color combinations, and so what I did with this one is I took, let me see, our hand-pinned petals paper. And so when you buy our 12 by 12 paper, it comes with this cardboard kind of protecting it, but it has this information on it right here. And this information is also in the catalog. But you'll see that it tells you the colors that coordinate, or the colors that you'll find in this paper. And so all I did was pull some of the colors from here to make my color combination. So I have pale papaya, basic white, midnight, misty moonlight, sorry. Which one is that? Mint macaron. No, which one is that? I have to think about it for a second. Yes, mint macaron, blushing bride, Highland heather, and then this one is pool party. And those are all colors that were found inside this designer set. I didn't use every single color because I didn't think all of them together would be good, but I just pulled out the colors that I liked. So if you're not sure how to come up with color combinations, that is a great way to create some color combinations. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. We're also going to do a little bit of embossing in a few minutes, heat embossing, which I haven't done in a while, and I forgot how much I love doing that. So I'm pulling in my Stampin' Trimmer. I'm going to scrap piece of paper on here. And I'm going to cut this at 5 1/2. So I've got the long side and I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2. And the darker one, if you, actually I'm going to change out a blade because I have been cutting a lot lately. Well, if I can find my blades, I may not have one close by. I thought I had them right here. Yep, I do. And so this blade is getting a little bit ragged, and just to show you, so we sell, you can get replacement blades for this. And so you just, there's a little hole slot here that you can just pop this out, and then you can pop in a brand new sharp blade. And then the other one, the lighter one, is our scoring tool, and we'll use that in just a second. So let me put my trimmer flat. All right, so I'm gonna cut it at 5 1/2. And I'm gonna set this other piece aside because we'll do that in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and score my cardstock. So now I'm gonna score it at 4 1/4, and that will give me a perfect fold. Now, a lot of people ask, is there a specific way you're supposed to fold after you score? And the answer is yes. So when you score, you create a valley where you've pressed down here. And so the easiest way I can tell you is this is the way the paper's laying, and this is the way you want it to fold up. So the valley stays to the outside, and the mountain stays in the middle. So if you can think about that mountain in the middle, that will that might help you remember which way to fold your cardstock. Now, let me get my bone folder and just give it a little bit of a burnish, so this way it'll lay flat that way. Now I'm going to cut this piece in half, and oops, that was scoring, because this is what we're going to create our color panel on. And I'm done with my trimmer. No, I'm not actually. What am I thinking? We're getting ready to use it a whole bunch. So I'm going to set my card base aside so I don't lose it. And also, I'm just going to tell you right now, because this little ditch is what I call it on our paper trimmer. Sometimes paper will build up in there, and I just take my take your pick tool, and that'll sometimes cause you not to get a good clean cut. And so I just usually take my take your pick tool and kind of come through here, and I could see there's a piece of pink cardstock or something. There we go. Anyway, you can just kind of get those pieces out of there, and then that will help you get a better cut also. And I've been cutting with some adhesive on here too, so it's got a little bit of adhesive down there. Maybe why I'm not getting good cuts. All right, so now our Scrappy Strips. I just grabbed a bunch of colors that I liked, and the way I start looking is I just lay them together. I don't like that one. I want this to be bright and cheerful, maybe. I don't want that one. I love Bermuda Bay. So this is Gorgeous Grape, Mango Melody, Highland Heather, Bermuda Bay, Daffodil Delight, Melon Mambo, and Pacific Point. So I love these colors. And I think I'm just going to start cutting some of the strips. And then once I put them out, we'll just kind of see how they go. And I'm also probably going to maybe put a couple strips of white in here. We'll see how it goes. I have a little piece of white here I can use. All right, so prepare to have your mind blown when you see how easy it is to cut these strips. Now, let's plan out just a little bit. So here's our base. Let me bring a card back into you so you can see this is the full size of our card base. Remember, our card base is a half a sheet of cardstock. I'm going to trim this down, so I want to start off with it being a little bit bigger so I can trim it so it's fully covers that. Okay, now you see the direction that my strips are running, and so I want my strips to be longer than this piece. So if I can kind of like, yep, that's gonna work. See how that is, that that hangs off of both ends. So I will be able to have plenty of extra strips to, you know, kind of trim off the edges. If it's too short and it doesn't cover the black all the way, when you go to trim, it may not trim well. Okay, now I will say, I want to give credit because this idea is not original to me. I saw this, gosh, probably a couple years now, maybe a year or so ago now. It was at the beginning of the pandemic, I do remember that. Kylie and Bruno Bertucci, who are demonstrators in Australia, husband and wife team. I think that's kind of when he was just starting to do a little stamping. He kind of came up with this trick, and it's pretty cool. So when you do this, all you do is you put, now normally if I'm cutting paper, I'm going to put it all the way up here to the edge, and I'm going to make sure that I'm cutting super straight. Yes, Ginger, I am recording this, and I will upload the video later so people can catch this on replay. Instead, we're just going to pull down here, and we're just going to angle the cardstock on the trimmer, okay? It doesn't matter what the angle is. It doesn't matter. I might have to say that a few times. It doesn't matter. Then I'm kind of just turning it back another way, and then you can do it 2 times the same direction. You can determine how much of an angle, and usually I cut maybe 4 strips. I'll cut a wider one. You can cut them super thin, you can cut them super thick. But I usually cut about 4 strips of each one, and this one's a little bit long, so I'm going to trim this down a little bit because I don't need all of that, and I could use this little piece later for something. So make a few skinny strips here. All right, you see how fast I'm going? I am not joking about, you just cut wonky strips. That's it. You just cut some wonky strips. That's the rule. All right, let's get some Bermuda Bay. And so after you get your strips, and make sure you save them because you may want to make another one of these cards. And cutting 4 of each, especially with as many colors as I put here, you'll have extras. And it's funny because sometimes I accidentally cut a straight line. I'm like, I wasn't even trying. That one was almost exactly straight. Sometimes I just get going. If you wanted to do a bunch of these, then you could just sit here and cut like a whole, like use a half a sheet of cardstock and just cut it all the way down. And then you would have a whole pile of these strips, and you could make a bunch of cards. That one's almost too straight, but I'm gonna let it fly. I'm gonna do a skinny. I don't have enough skinny pieces. All right, I don't think I want to use Highland Heather, but Mango Melody is probably one of my favorite colors that we have. So I'm definitely going to use that one. Let me know if you have any questions. But I'm just sitting here kind of, whoops. That one slid around on me a little bit. Oh, that's going to be okay. And then last I'm going to do Gorgeous Grape. Oh, I haven't done any white ones. I need to do some white. Oops. Okay, when those pieces get to be a little bit smaller, it's kind of harder to hold on to them. But I don't think I want big pieces of white. Sometimes you just want it will brighten things up quite a bit. So I just want to have a few of them to throw in there as needed. Hey Brenda, haven't seen you in a while. Brenda and I we had a little working lunch, late lunch, early supper, whatever you might want to call it. So now I've got all my strips here, and I love these colors together. And I'm pretty sure all of these came out of the Bold, or gosh, I'm still calling it Bold Brights. I'm from the old days when we had Bold Brights. All right, so now for your adhesive. For this, you want to use our Tombow liquid glue. This is going to be your best friend. And I'm also going to pull in my silicone sheet just to protect my surface so I don't get adhesive everywhere, because I tend to do that. Now, I just kind of start, the way you do this is you just start laying pieces down. Okay, I don't want to do that one. I think I need mango. And it's just completely random, however you want to do it. That's kind of too many going the same direction. Let's see, what other colors? Maybe I'll put a little white. You can have them start leaning all towards one direction and then change it up real quick. Let's get purple. Gorgeous grape. I'm gonna do this one this way. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just trying to get an idea for how many strips I might need. I think I may want to let that one kind of go that way. Let's do blue. All right, so what are you thinking about this so far? Easy peasy, or are you still scratching your head wondering how this is going to turn out? Okay. Let's see, I need to put a white. Okay. Now one piece over here is going to, you're going to have one side, you're going to pick with the left or the right, whatever you want, to have it straight on the edge. So I just kind of, like I said, I just sit here and play around with it until I get, and this is, for this part of it for me, is mostly about just getting the order of the colors that I want on here. It's not, and kind of alternating widths. Let's see, I think I want a skinny Bermuda, and then I think I want another daffodil. All right, what are y'all thinking? Do you think I need to do something different? Feel free to yell at me. Throw out your ideas. Okay. Get on there. And then maybe, trying to think what I want. In case, now when you start gluing down, you may have to, I don't have enough melon mambo on there, that's what's missing. Maybe I'll put that on there. Okay, so I kind of have the order that I want. So I'm gonna just slide them off. They don't have to stay in the right position. But now I know the order that I want. Okay, let me move it up a little bit. Come on, guys. Okay, so now all you have to do is start adhering to your cardstock. So I'm going to start with this Melon Mambo. I'm not going to get super close to these ends because I know that there's going to be, they're going to be hanging off. And remember with this Tombow, a little goes a long way, and you don't want it to squeeze out so that it shows through on the grout lines is what I call them. And the good thing about this, the reason why you want to use this is that it gives you time to move these strips around because they're not going to go down exactly the way you want to the first time. So you want to have a little bit of time. Now, you get to decide how much of the black cardstock you have showing through there. You could butt them up, and we used to do this, but we didn't leave the space between it when I used to do this before. And we just cut straight strips, but we did cut straight strips of varying widths. But we butted everything up really close together. So this is kind of a new take on an older technique. But it's fun because it's one I haven't done in a long time. And so I thought it'd be a fun one to do. All right, I don't know what my phone just did. I hope I'm still connected to you guys. All right. And if you've used Tombow, I don't know if I can get it. It's kind of, we got a little leaning going on here, and it may just stay that way. We'll see. we'll see where it goes. But it is a little tedious, but once you get the hang of it, then you, it goes a little bit faster. Now, there's another thing you could also do, you know, since our designer series paper is all color coordinated, you could take your designer series paper strips and do the very same thing with this, and just, you know, because you've got two sides to every design, you could just flip and flop your designs, and I think that would be beautiful. I was going to try to have one of those made before this started, but I didn't get that done, so I apologize for that. But now, as you can see, I think I'm probably going to need to add a couple strips. So that's one thing. When you start actually putting it in place, sometimes you'll have to add a few. But that's okay, because we've got plenty over here. And so what I'll do with these is I've got a little basket that I will put these strips that are ready to go for a scrappy strip. And then later on, I may want to make a card, maybe with a different color scheme, but I can still pull any of these strips out and use them. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you enjoyed this, because these are so fun to make, because it's just something that's different, and it really just kind of pops. Let's see how this is gonna go. I think if I put it this way, yep, that's what I want to do. All right, last one. Okay, now you could also, and as you can see, these are not perfect. The black line in between is not perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of press these down, and this is what it looks like on the back. And I'm going to set this aside while we're going to do some heat embossing, but I want to make sure I don't get the embossing powder close to that. All right, let me clean up my strips here and get them in my strip basket. All right, that's easily another card right there. Okay, so I'm going to take a piece of basic black cardstock, and let me see. I'm going to grab a piece of printer paper. If you can hang on one second, I forgot to get that. It's right here. Just to help collect my embossing powder. All right, so I've got my embossing supplies. Now, we don't sell this anymore. This is called an embossing buddy. We used to sell it. You can take a dryer sheet and rub over your cardstock. This just eliminates some of the static electricity on your cardstock, and it also helps dry up some of the oils that you transfer from your hands. And I'm a person, I put lotion on all the time, so I have probably a lot of oils coming, and you don't want to press down really hard, because then you'll get this white powder on here. But you just rub over it a few times, and that kind of primes the surface. Now, for heat embossing, you're going to want to use a Versamark ink pad. The difference between this and our other ink pads, this is a very thick, sticky ink, and it takes longer to dry, which is what you want, because you're going to be putting embossing powder, heat embossing powder, and so you don't want an ink like our dye-based inks. They just dry really quickly, and so those don't work for this. So I've got my Versamark, and I think I'm going to do, I don't always like doing the same thing twice, but oh, wait a minute. I had something different I was going to do. I can't do that. All right, scratch that. I'm going to go back. I really love this, the way this turned out, so I'm going to do that again. And so this, I don't have my label on here, but this is from the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set. Let me pull that in here and show you. And so I'm just using this sentiment right here. And I'm going to ink up, and you'll see, I mean, you'll see how sticky this ink is. And I always flip it over to look and make sure that it looks like it's good and wet. Now remember, when you go to stamp this down, you're going straight down. And I'm going to leave this, and since I'm going to be cutting this out, I don't need to worry about whether it's straight or not. But I'm just going to leave this for a second. I'm not rocking back and forth. I am going straight down, and then I'm going to come straight up because I don't want to get ink from any of these edges down here because this embossing powder is going to stick if I do that. Okay, so I can set that aside. Now, for embossing powders that I use a lot, which the white one I use a lot, this is a little crayon box from Walmart. It's $1. It's cute and it's perfect for holding your embossing powder, and it's easier to get it back in when you're done. Now, I do usually try to be pretty careful with it so that I don't have it going everywhere. So I take this and I'm going to hold it over here, and I start it in one spot, and then I just kind of let it fall over, and then just give it a little flick. There you go. So you can see, I'll try to see if you can see where these pieces here have stuck. You can kind of just brush those off, but I'm going to be cutting that anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it. Sometimes you can just, if you feel like it didn't get enough on there, enough coverage, you can try again. The biggest thing, you do not want to touch where it is because, go back over that lettuce part too, because then it just won't work very well. Give it a little flick. I think that's pretty good. A lot of times I keep a very fine paintbrush that's dry, and I will use that to brush off any excess. Now I've got this, if there's anything in here, I can put that back. That's a lot easier. This container's a lot easier to get back into than our little tiny round containers. So let me set that out of the way. Again, I am just going to kind of look at it, make sure there's not some pieces and places that I don't want. And since I had some adhesive on my fingers, it's kind of sticking to my fingers. Just be really careful. Now, since I'm working on my countertop, I don't want to heat up my countertop. So I have made this little tool. Still got embossing powder everywhere. You can feel it. I hate that feeling. So this is a glass cutting board that I got, and I just covered it with a couple layers of aluminum foil. And this is going to protect my countertop because I have just like it's like a Formica top here. All right, so I'm going to get my heat tool. Now the heat tool has two settings. The one is for if you're going to dry, like if you're doing a watercolor wash and you want to dry your watercolor, or if you want to dry something that you stamped, you would want to use number 1. It just helps it dry quicker. Number 2 is going to be the one that's going to get good and hot for you to do your heat embossing. And I'm going to take my take your pick tool, and I'm just going to hold it right here, keep my hand out of the way. Now this is going to make some noise, and what I'm going to do, I'll tell you beforehand, so but this one's fairly quiet. I hold this kind of and just wiggle back and forth a little bit in one spot until I see the powder start to melt. And then once that powder starts to melt, I just slowly start going down and I just watch it melt. You can burn this heat embossing powder, so be careful with that. And it takes just a second for it to get warm, but you'll see it. Hopefully you'll be able to see it on here. All right, there it goes. You'll see it starts turning a really bright white, and so then I just slowly, once it turns, that's all you need. And it's going to be glossy. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Now you can just check. I always kind of tilt it to the light. If you see any dull area, that means the powder didn't melt. But otherwise, it should be shiny, and you can just go ahead and touch it. It's great because you've got that sensory thing going on. And there you go. So I'll take my little table protector out of the way, and I'm going to take my paper snips, and I'm just going to trim You can trim it as close, as tightly as you want. It doesn't matter. The first one I did, I had actually planned to do something different, and so I ended up trimming it a little closer than I had planned, but it still turned out just fine, so I'm not going to worry about it. And when you're trimming with, especially small scissors, if you'll turn the paper instead of turning your scissors, if you just slowly close your scissors and turn the paper, you will get smooth curves. Okay. And I'm just going to curve this end here. There we go. I got a little point there. I'm going to take that off. Okay. So there's that. And I need a lot of birthday cards at the moment, so I am trying to send more cards. So I will throw that into my scrap stack. Now, let's bring back this piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this over, lay my scissors right up against that edge. Now I'm going to, I could just go ahead and trim all this on the trimmer, but this, it kind of makes me crazy, so I'm just going to do this. I feel better about it this way. There we go. And also this keeps me from getting a lot of adhesive on my trimmer. And I can, my scissors are easier to clean off in my opinion than my trimmer. Alrighty, so this is, our next step is to trim this down, and this is where we're gonna get our little decorator piece for the inside. So here is our piece, look at that. I love it. It's so bright and cheerful and happy. Okay, now we are going to, typically when we do a layer, we do, oops, sorry about that, I hit the camera, a 1/4 inch off of 2 sides, which gives us a 1/8 inch border all the way around. And if you stay in card making for very long, you will get to be very, very good at fractions. So originally this is 4 1/4. Take it down to 4 inches. And this is the piece that I'm going to use on the inside. Now my little piece of white popped off there, but that's okay. So there's that. So that's gonna go on the inside, so don't throw that away. And then you can decide which end. Now if you want to take a little bit off of each side, if you don't want to take a whole bunch. So this is going to go down to 4 1/4, and I'm going to do a little bit off of both sides because otherwise I'm going to lose a lot of that mango melody. So I'm sorry, 5 1/4, not 4 1/4. I just caught myself there. Okay, so there is our base. Now we're ready to put everything together. Let me move my trimmer out of the way. I need some Stampin' Dimensionals, which are almost never around when you need them. Here's our card base. Here is our layer. Here is our sentiment. Stampin' Dimensionals. And we'll need the Tombow glue to attach our little strip for the inside. So don't put that Tombow away yet. All right, so I'm going to put this on with some dimensionals. And, whoops, I didn't mean to get that. Sometimes this card is a little bit heavier, so with all of these layers, so I'm gonna put a few more than I normally do. I don't normally put that many on there. All right, little trick I learned the other day is you can take your pick tool and put it in there and then just pick these up, and then they all kind of stay. Well, that one didn't come up, I don't think. It takes a minute to get the hang of it, but then you've got this whole perfect little stack. Whoops, that one didn't. And then you can just put them in the trash, and then they will jump out and find their way all over your house still. All right, so now I'm just going to frame this I just kind of look until I feel like there's an even amount of the black all the way around. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so there is that. And now I'm going to get some mini dimensionals for this guy. I hope. Yeah, I've got some. Okay. Because these are little skinnier areas. So these are just our dimensionals, only smaller. And I want this to stand up really well, so I am going to put quite a few on here. There we go. For me, I'm just going to peel these off. They're going to end up all over the house whether I do that little trick or not, but I thought that little trick was fun because I had never seen that before. And I've got a little spot here I want to trim. All right, so I would love to know what you think about this. Hearts and thumbs up and all those good things. All right, now this is so simple. We're talking paper. When you talk about simple stamping, this is it. We've stamped one thing, we've heat embossed. Now that is a little bit more of a advanced technique, but there we go. And of course, I'm going to have to put something sparkly on here. And let's see what I want to put on. Oh, the decisions are so hard. Not that one. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to use these. These are our Opal Rounds, and I used these on the other one, and I like these, so I think I'm going to put these on there. Where'd my... Oh, there it is. So I just grabbed my Take Your Pick tool, and this is... I use the putty end and just kind of push it off of the... Oops, you can't see me maybe. Push it off of the package, and it kind of sticks to the putty. And I always kind of do groups of 3. It's one of those design things. I think I'm just going to leave it with 3 on this one. I'll try to restrain myself. Typically with sparkly things, I'm not very restrained, but that's okay. Let me put my opals back in here. Throw them in the box. And now we just need to add a layer on the inside. Now, I just want to tell you, I keep a whole stack of these. I just grab and cut, and these are, and I'll write it on here so you can see, these are 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. And I just cut a stack of these, and I keep them next to my desk, so whenever I need to put my inside piece, anytime I use any kind of dark cardstock, I always put a piece of white cardstock in there to write the note on. And I'll just grab, now look at that. I sat there and turned it over like it really is important, but oh, when you have two-sided cardstock. Now I hadn't stamped it or anything, so it would have been the same, but so I'm just going to put a little Tombow in here since this is what I've been using, and go ahead and get this placed. And again, it does give me just a little wiggle room in case I don't get it on there straight. And then just press it down. It dries pretty fast, but it does give you a few seconds of wiggle. And now I'm going to take that little strip that I had and just put a very thin line of Tombow. And there we go. And this one's going to go, because I didn't trim it down, it's going to go all the way across, but that is fine with me. I like it. If I could find, I think I already threw away that little piece of white, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. So there is our card. Very simple and very bright and cheery. Now you can also, if you want to take your envelope and you could pull out any one of these colors and you could stamp on here, let's celebrate you down here. You could stamp it here, but I think this kind of card would be much better sent in a clear envelope. And I'm going to show you how to mail in a clear envelope. Now, wouldn't you love to get this in your mailbox just like that? Now, what you need to do to mail this is, let's see, you're going to take 1/4 sheet of copy paper. I'm just going to grab one of those inside pieces because that's what I have right now. And you're going to address this. And you could stamp this to, and then to address, and then who it's from, there. And then you put this, let me do it this way, inside your envelope, and then you seal your envelope, and then you take your stamp and you put it on the outside. Okay, it's very important that this is on the outside of your envelope. Okay, inside, no, outside. Okay, it has to be able to be canceled. So if it's on the inside of the envelope, you can't cancel the stamp. So then you can just take this and take it to your post office and it'll go. And that's how you can mail in a clear envelope. So there we go. I hope you liked that one. That was a fun one to me. And I did not, because I changed my mind on this, I didn't use my little mini embossing machine, but I just love this. And Brenda and I were talking earlier, I'm trying to figure out a way to make glitter grout for this. So I'm working on that. I'll let you know how that comes out. We'll see about that. If you have any questions about this scrappy strip technique, let me know. And I was looking for that little piece of paper that had the host code on it, but there's no telling where it went because my desk is crazy. But I will post the host code in the comments so that you will have that. And don't forget, if you want Celebration, it ends tomorrow. So you need to get your Celebration orders in. The giveaway for the mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss is, I'll bring this in, goes through October 15th. But if you want the benefits of Celebration, you need to get that order in by tomorrow and use that host code. And that's where you get credit for your entries, is by using that host code. I'm going to try to check and see if I missed any comments. I don't think I did. I appreciate you guys watching. And Connie, I'm glad you liked the tip about the DSP color combinations, because that is a great way to find color combinations. I also go through my catalog, and when I especially when I first get this one, I don't have markers on, but I'll get Post-it notes. And the first time I go through, I just look at everything, and then I go through specifically looking for color combinations that I like. And then I use a specific color of a Post-it note, and then I know that on that page I like a color combination, or like this one, or if it's a design, then I would put a different color Post-it note, because then I'll know that there's a card layout that I like on that page. So that's how I use the catalog. Like right here, this would be a good color combination. That's how I can find new color combinations, things that I might not think about specifically. And then again here, they're showing you the colors that they used. So you don't have to come up with your own color combinations. You can totally use things that Stampin' Up! Provides. These are great tools that are in our catalogs. If you need a catalog, please let me know. And if you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. So just contact me and I can get you a catalog. I can help you. If you need help placing an order, please give me a call. I'll be happy to help you place that order. Let's see, what else do we need to remind you about? I think that's about it. I really do. We've got, let's see, how do we do on our time? I think we did well. We got it in well, really about an hour because I have my technical difficulties, so that's good. All right, well, I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate you guys watching. Please share this video with friends that you think would enjoy it, and let me know if you make one. I'd love to see your cards, so please share your cards with me if you make these. If you use this technique, I would love to see it. Tag me in your posts so I can see them. And I hope you guys have a great evening, and I will see you next Wednesday at 7. Happy stamping!